What's going on, guys? Primitive here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new video here onto my channel. Now, what we're going to be talking about today and discussing is going to be the patch notes and the most recent update for Black Ops 3, which also brought some new DLC weapons and a couple of throwback weapons from Black Ops 2. Now, the gameplay that you're going to be watching in the background is going to be a 46-4 gameplay on TDM on Redwood. I actually haven't posted any Redwood gameplay, I don't think, on my channel, so yeah, this is kind of a bit different for me, so hopefully you like that. But yeah, let's get right in with the topic. So we're going to talk about the patch notes first, since that isn't kind of the most exciting subject. However, it's very much kind of needed to know so that you guys can kind of try out the new guns and know what's good. So let's start. First of all, let's start with the nerfs. So there were, I think, 3 nerfs to guns in Black Ops 3. There were 2 nerfs in the SMG category, and there was a nerf in the assault rifle category. So the 2 nerfs in the SMG category was the VMP, and that got a reduced recoil stability, and so did the CUDA. So those both got reduced recoil stability, which basically means that the gun's going to kick up a lot more, because obviously the stability of the recoil is going to be a lot less, so it's going to kick up more. However, the Vespa, while I'm on the SMG category, the Vespa actually got a massive buff to its recoil stability, basically the opposite of the VMP and the CUDA, and this thing is a god now. That's why you watched in the first kind of bit of the gameplay. I was doing really well with that, and before kind of this patch you couldn't use the Vespa. It wasn't viable to use in public match competitive. It wasn't even a gun. But now it is absolutely up there. It shreds everyone again. I'm not sure whether I like it being Vespa lobbies, but yeah, I suppose it's a new gun to add to the meta of Call of Duty, and especially since they have the new DLC guns as well. There's going to be a lot more new guns that you're going to be encountering in lobbies, rather than just the standard VMP and CUDA classes. Now, having said that the VMP and the CUDA got a nerf, they are still very viable options. Don't get it like mixed up. They are still very viable options. That's why you see me doing quite well with the CUDA class here. It still competes very well with any other gun in the game. That's still a very viable option. Now, I believe a Man of War actually got, yeah, I think it got increased reload speed, because that was quite good, so I'm pretty sure that got a nerf, and I think the recoil got upped a little bit more, but I'm not quite certain about that. I'll put up a picture at some point during the video just to make sure to check the statistics, to make sure that I'm not giving you guys any false information. So yeah, now that we've talked about kind of not really the boring aspects of Call of Duty, because obviously they're very good to know, especially for kind of competitive players, to find out if there's new guns. And if you go into lobbies, I don't want you guys going in and using kind of let's call the bad guns of the game. Obviously the VMP and the CUDA is still very good, but the Vespa is probably one of the best SMGs now in the game, so make sure you give that a go. If you didn't like the Vespa before, I think you'll definitely like it now. It absolutely melts. It's basically back to where it was at the start of the game. So yeah, let's get in with the DLC weapons now. So they released 2 melee weapons, and they released 3 ranged weapons. So basically, if you don't know what the melee weapons are, or melee weapons, they are basically the guns that it's basically a reskinned combat knife, but they kind of add a little bit more, I don't know, fun to Black Ops 3 multiplayer. Rather than just running around with a combat knife, you can run around with things like sledgehammers and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to put that in or not. They haven't implemented it yet, but that would be quite cool to put in a sledgehammer. But yeah, so let's talk about those. So we got the nunchucks, which is basically, if you haven't seen nunchucks before, I don't know where you've been, you must be living under a rock. But they're pretty much in every martial arts movie. They're used by Bruce Lee. They're basically 2 sticks connected by a chain. You must have seen them. I'm not going to go into explaining them. And then, so you've got them, and then what you've also got is kind of what the black market dealer calls, I think, an electric baton, which is basically a stick of electricity, so that when you hit your opponents, you electrocute them. So it's basically, it's still like a combat knife, but yeah, it kind of adds a bit more, I don't know, variety so that when you kill people it's not just kind of like a general stab or anything like that. It's actually a cooler animation, maybe makes you think, I don't know, a bit happier when you get a kill or something like that. But yeah, so those are kind of, in my eyes, the boring guns. Some people must obviously love melee weapons for them to keep bringing them out, but the ranged guns are the ones we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the R70 Ajax first. The R70 Ajax is a fully automatic LMG, and it prints its own ammo. So it's basically, if you imagine the IMR from like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, that used to print its own ammo. It's an LMG that prints its own ammo. LMGs are basically overpowered anyway. If campers get in a corner with one of them, you're stuffed basically. If they're like camping at the back of a map, thermal LMG, you're stuffed. So yeah, this probably isn't going to be amazing towards a game. However, they have kind of put in some precautions to make sure that it doesn't become too overpowered, because when you you only get 50 bullets in a clip without extended mags, and so you need to kind of preserve those bullets, because once you use them all up, you've got to wait for them all to kind of be printed again. And you can't use scavenger on that class. I don't think it's pretty much pointless. So yeah, so that's that gun. Now, getting into the two throwback guns, kind of the guns that everyone's very happy to see return. So we've got the DSR B50, if I'm correct, which is basically the DSR from Black Ops 2. Now, I haven't had a look at kind of the hit detection and stuff like that, and I haven't looked at the hit markers and the damage and stuff like that, but honestly, it's kind of like the DSR in a way. I think it's got similar like kills time and all of that, but you can basically fire 2 bullets without even having to rechamber, so that's more overpowered. If it's got the same damage as the DSR 50 and you don't need to rechamber after every bullet, you only rechamber after 2, like, that's going to be ridiculously overpowered. Like, snipers like Sprat and Plumage, they're going to be going off with that. But yeah, so that's not really my interest because I don't snipe, but maybe if you snipe then you can be interested in that. But for me it's the Peacekeeper, which is a gun, well, I'll talk a little bit about it. It was a gun implemented in the 3rd map pack of Black Ops 2, and it was the first DLC weapon to ever be implemented in a map pack, so that's quite kind of iconic in Call of Duty, because otherwise we wouldn't have weapons in map packs. Well, we probably eventually would, but we wouldn't get guns as soon as this. Probably the next Call of Duties they'd implement it. But yeah, so the Peacekeeper. Now, I personally never bought a DLC map packs in Black Ops 2, so I don't really know how good the Peacekeeper is. However, I watch kind of Scump's videos and a lot of videos, and it is ridiculous. It walks the line between assault rifles and SMGs. It has great fire rate, low recoil. It's such a good weapon. It was an SMG in Black Ops 2, however, I believe in Black Ops 3 they've turned it into an assault rifle. So yeah, that's kind of more on the assault rifle side now, but it's still a very, very viable option for rushing. Now, I am going to say that the video is coming to a close. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, kind of a bit of a news topic, because it is quite a major thing when they release new weapons and patch notes and stuff like that, and I want to keep you guys updated on the fact of the new weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, just quickly, I want to say a massive thanks to you guys, because we're now actually at 51 subs. And to be honest, I haven't put that much work into YouTube. Obviously, I've made some good videos and I'm a relatively good player, but I haven't put a huge amount of work into YouTube. So massive thanks for you guys. I can see it's paying off. Hopefully we're going to reach 100 mark at some point, but I'm not going to push it. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hopefully like the video. Don't worry if you don't want to subscribe. No harm, no foul. Remember guys, as always, stay cool, and yeah, it's been Primitive, and I'm out. Peace.